Well, the written word can be a very powerful thing, changing opinions and lives. Well, a new book by a Cincinnati author and activist is proof of that.
Kimberly Burge is here to tell us about Born Frees, Writing with the Girls of Gugulethu. It's about how writing helped young girls in South Africa. Kimberly, thanks for coming in today.
Thank you so much for having me.
I know you spent the early part of your life in Cincinnati. You're in D.C. now.
I did.
Tell us what the significance of that term Born Frees. What does that term mean?
So the Born Frees, that's what South Africans call this first generation born after the end of apartheid, the government-sanctioned racial segregation that happened for so many years. And so this generation was born kind of in the early 90s when Nelson Mandela had just gotten out of prison and was elected president in 94. And so they're just coming of age now. They're in their late teens, early 20s, and they're inheriting a country where they have freedom, but they also have a lot of problems, a lot of economic inequality and struggles.
And a lot of these children lost their parents.
They did, yeah. About 2/3 of the girls that I worked with, I had a creative writing club for girls in 2010, and about 2/3 have lost their parents, have been orphaned by AIDS, by violence, by different illnesses, and so they struggle to grow up.
So when did you go to South Africa? How did you choose this project?
Yeah, well, I've spent a long time working in nonprofits in D.C. working on global poverty issues, and I wanted to spend some more time over there. I went to Africa for the first time in 2002, but I went as a Fulbright scholar in 2010 and had this creative writing club because I wanted to hear them talk about their lives in their own words. And so the book, The Born Frees, it weaves in a lot of their own writing, their poetry and prose, and they have tremendous insight into their lives and their country and what they see.
What was this experience like for you to see this sort of transformation in these girls and to see them really develop like that?
They're tremendous. I mean, that, you know, there was, because they've lost parents, you know, they struggled with depression. One girl had never been treated, you know, never had counseling after she lost her mom at 14. And she had this real raspy voice. She literally hated the sound of her own voice, and she never wanted to read or writing aloud. And over the course of the years, she just came out of her shell and really became this powerful advocate for herself, which is what writing can do. I think it helped them tap in that they have these voices that can be used.
That's why a lot of people journal, because that's a way of dealing with your feelings and things like that. How did you find these girls? How did you choose this particular group?
Sure. I was based at a church, a Presbyterian church and community center, so they already had a real good activist base there, and it was a colleague in D.C. put me in touch with them. And so
And how many were there?
Oh my goodness, anywhere from 4 to 22 could show up on a Saturday. Wow. But I had about 10 that were kind of my hardcore girls that came through, my regulars, exactly. And they were wonderful. I mean, and so many, you know, they're playing catch up with the educational system. So many, something like 80% of libraries, public schools don't have libraries in South Africa.
What was their response to you, someone coming in, no real background as an educator, but educating nonetheless?
Yeah, well, I called it a club. I didn't want them to have to come to a class on Saturday, because who wants to do that?
Sure.
You know, so, but I think they really did. They needed an outlet for expression. You know, they were really eager to do that. And, you know, I wondered that coming in as a white woman, as a foreigner, you know, but they really, they embraced me. They're amazing young women and taught me more about, you know, American pop music than I know.
What do you hope comes out of this?
You know, I want American readers to see a different side of Africa. I think so often we think of Africa as famine, poverty, AIDS, conflict, and that's there, but there's also joy and laughter and good food and writing and stories. And these girls, they know how Africa is perceived, and they just want to be seen in the wholeness of their lives, you know, to be, you know, they've got struggles, but they also have really good things to say about themselves.
What has been the feedback you've gotten from the book? Are people surprised to see that this is a part of that culture?
I think they are, yeah. And I think, you know, just the idea that these girls are so insightful and have so much knowledge about, you know, not only their history, but kind of where their future's going. And yeah, you know, there's a perception that American readers won't read books about South Africa, and I'm trying really hard to break that.
We're helping you, yeah, we're trying.
You're tremendous,
and
thank
you're doing
you.
something at the YWCA to further promote it, and with women especially.
It's wonderful, yeah. Tomorrow night with, it's sponsored by the YWCA, Bethany House, Interfaith Hospitality Network, and Women Writing for a Change. So these are great local organizations that are empowering women locally locally and raising their voices. And so there are connections between these two places 8,000 miles away.
Can anyone go to this event tomorrow?
Anyone can go.
Where is it and what time?
6 p.m. It's downtown at the YWCA on Walnut Street. I'm really looking forward to being back home and seeing Cincinnatians.
Okay, very good.
Kimberly, thank you so much for joining us.
Kimberly, best of luck.
Thank you.